Like, did the blip really happen? Or did Kevin create that? What the hell? What is going on, beautiful people? It's your boy here, Wesley from AK Nation TV here on YouTube, the one place on the World Wide Web where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences, and welcome to my channel. I am going to give my opinion on the whole She-Hulk series because everyone has an opinion, as do I. And I have to say, although I tremendously love the MCU, and I honestly love just about everything that they do, what they are attempting to do moving forward with the comedy, with the smashing the fourth wall, with the throwing all of these storylines up in the air just because they're represented in comic books and we just want to see it in live action, it's really starting to aggravate me. And actually, no, it has been aggravating me, but the She-Hulk series has just made it absolutely worse. The She-Hulk series has a current score of 87 on Rotten Tomatoes and a current score just a smidgen above 5 points on IMDb. Why? Because the show is doing way too freaking much. The audience rating summary is a 2.1. Why is She-Hulk rated so low? Presently, She-Hulk is rated 5.2 on IMDb, a lot lower than Ms. Marvel's 6.2. But Marvel fans may be more disappointed with She-Hulk because of its goofy nature, abysmal writing, terrible CGI, and woke content. Or the fact that She-Hulk is replacing the Hulk in the MCU. Now, I don't necessarily believe that She-Hulk can or is replacing the Hulk in the MCU. Honestly, the Hulk in and of itself is going through a metamorphosis that a lot of people tend to just don't like it. You know, the Professor Hulk is doing doing way too much, but I don't see him being replaced, right? I don't think any of the original characters can be replaced. I know they're doing that with Black Widow, with Elena Belova, but she can't be replaced, okay? And you know, I just think the Black Widow is the Black Widow. I think Captain America is Captain America. You know, Riri Williams cannot replace Iron Man. But I feel like we would, the audience, the main audience, people like myself, because I'm not speaking for everyone. We can adopt similar connections despite our differences here. But people like myself can ease into a familiar power set being placed on a whole nother body, okay, if the story makes sense and if it seems authentic and genuine and if it's not making a mockery of what we've fallen in love with. I think the problem with MCU comedy for me is that it's not like natural comedy, like cool comedy. Like, for example, Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man, or all of the Spider-Man had a hint of comedy in it. I think that the last Spider-Man had a little bit more comedy, or the comedy that felt just authentic to the storyline as a whole. It wasn't making fun of the story and what we like, you know? It was just comedy. Like Jamie Foxx talking about, oh, I always thought you were black. That's comedy. We know that there's a Miles Morales. We know that that's where we would like to go in the future, but it's not Jamie Foxx saying, oh, I wish Kevin Feige would have allowed you to be black this time. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's comedy and then there's stupidity. And I feel like, and I hope Deadpool doesn't go down this route, but I feel like the reason why the bulk of MCU comedy just does not work for the bulk of MCU fans is because of that. What the hell is going on with She-Hulk? Who greenlit this and thought that it would be fantastic for, spoiler alert, She-Hulk to bust through the fourth wall, climb down the Disney Plus menu board, go into a thumbnail of a documentary to hopefully find people that have written or is writing her series, and then speak to the people that apparently wrote the series to go find Kevin. What is this? What the hell? I started watching She-Hulk because I was intrigued and I was wondering how they were going to make the storyline. When I found out that it was going to be a complete comedy, I was let down because I'm like, okay, this is about to be trash. From episode 1 all the way to episode 9, I can't honestly say that there's any one episode, okay, that I've completely fallen in love with. I can't honestly say that I want a season 2 of this show. I can't honestly say that Daredevil saved the show, because he didn't. The Hulk didn't save the show. She-Hulk didn't save the show, right? And so, as opposed to just trashing this thing, because it's already doing that on its own, in my opinion, let me just tell you the kind of MCU films that I like, and maybe that'll give you a better perspective on why I feel the way that I do, right? Matter of fact, let's start with the Disney Plus shows, because the Disney Plus shows have been a third sock, right? The Disney Plus shows have been that fly that you find in your soup, right? It's like, it's a part of something that you love so much, the soup. So do you take the fly out and continue eating, or do you throw everything away? That's where I'm at now, because I feel like the series on Disney Plus have been flies flying in my soup of MCU, and I'm trying to figure out if I should continue eating or just throwing the whole freaking soup away. Okay? My favorite show on Disney Plus, MCU style, okay, is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay? That show has a purpose. That show has a good storyline. That show is good writing. That show has decent to good action. And it has a serious undertone to it, so I can vibe with it, right? My second favorite Disney Plus MCU show is WandaVision. Quirky, doing different things, great, different elements, cool, some kind of slapstick comedy, not overbearing, but there's a point to the story, there's a purpose to it, and it connects to the overall MCU, right? Cool. Third favorite show, Moon Knight. Some kind of comedy, mostly serious undertone, its own story. The writing makes sense within its own story. It doesn't have to necessarily be connected to the overall MCU, but it is, right? I liked it. Cool. Miss Marvel. Again, same thing. Serious undertone, some comedy, hints at, you know, the MCU and the mutants and all of this. It's a kiddie show, but it's grounded in some sense of its own thing, right? Liked it. Then Loki. I know everybody loves Loki, but Loki was just like all over the place for me, and I just never really cared for the character Loki. I just didn't like him, didn't care for him. But okay, cool. Everybody loves Loki, great. I just, not my thing, right? But still in the lineup, cool, great. All right, and what's after that? Oh, Jesus. What, She-Hulk's next? I can't keep up. There's so many freaking shows. And the cartoons, or whatever the case may be. But hopefully you get my point. My favorite MCU film, okay, is Captain America and Winter Soldier, right? Captain America the Winter Soldier was when the MCU started for me. You had the Russo brothers come on board and create a spy, thriller, espionage-esque film in dealing with superheroes. And it was just groundbreaking. It was action-packed. It was realistic. It was serious. And there were things at stake, okay? And I just completely loved it. It's, for me, my number one favorite MCU film, right? And then we dive into, you know, the Avengers movies with Endgame and, you know, Infinity War. And, you know, those are kind of like one and the same for me. And then for me, it's Black Panther. You know, those are the kind of movies that I like. One thing that I want to point out is that you have to realize that none of these slapstick comedy movies have gone a billion, have made $1 billion. None of them. Guardians of the Galaxy made $772 million. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 made $863 million. Thor Ragnarok didn't go $1 billion. Okay, and the last Thor didn't go $1 billion. There's a trend here. You know, there is a sector in the world of people that love the comedy in their superhero movies. But the numbers should be speaking volumes to the people that decide to greenlight these situations. Okay? Avengers Infinity War went $2 billion. Avengers Age of Ultron, $1 billion. Captain Marvel, even though it was silly, but had a blend of silly and serious, over $1 billion. Okay? The Black Panther, over $1 billion. All of the Marvel movies that have made over $1 billion were not just slapstick comedy. Spider-Man, over $1 billion for the nostalgia aspect and bringing in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Over $1 billion. Deadpool has never made $1 billion. Now he's gonna put Hugh Jackman in it and make Hugh Jackman dancing around with dandelions coming out for claws. And is it going to make $1 billion? No. What happened to Multiverse of Madness? They tried to do too much. It did not make $1 billion because they tried to do too much, and it was borderline more comedy than serious. I would hope that the people in Hollywood see the trend. Comedy is not making y'all billions. And the She-Hulk series is one of the lowest rated MCU series on Disney+. I thought Tatiana Maslany was cool. Jamila Jamil actually acted the best in the whole series for me. I wasn't expecting much from her, but she did really, really great. Ginger, cool, she played her role. Josh played her role. Like, everybody played their role, but the show sucks. The show sucks if you're a person like me that likes serious undertones in their superhero movies. And let's go one further, okay? Forget the serious undertones. I can appreciate comedy. I love comedy. Ha, ha, ha. But here's my question now. How the hell am I supposed to look at the MCU the same now when you have superheroes climbing out of the Disney Plus menu screen to go find someone, an android by the name of Kevin? Does that mean that I should care that the Hulk has a son? Does that mean that I should care about what happens in the Daredevil show? Why? Because there's a machine named Kevin orchestrating all this fakery. So is Black Widow really dead? Is Iron Man really dead? Like, come on. Like, I feel like, and I just feel like they could have, for a viewer like me, you may not be like me, you may have thought that this show was the best since sliced bread, whatever. But for me, they went way too far with this finale. They went way too far with, speaking through the fourth wall, breaking the fourth wall. I feel like breaking the fourth wall is kind of like you talking to yourself. Like, we talk to ourselves in the mirror all the time. Maybe you don't. We talk in the shower. I'm talking to you right now, breaking the fourth wall. Like, people do that all the time. They talk to themselves. Cool. Breaking the fourth wall allows you to understand the interpersonal being and who that person is mentally, right? But when you bust through the fourth wall and talk to writers and look for Kevin, like, what? That's just crazy to me, because now nothing in the MCU makes sense. It's all fake, and it's all written by a machine named Kevin. And granted, Wes, this is comedy. They're just making fun. They're trolling the viewers. Okay, but have her troll the freaking viewers in a dream. You had Megan Thee Stallion in your show. Like, you tried to cement the fact that this show was in real world time, but then you break all that through and down. But, like, what is going on? Like, just like the review said, abysmal writing. You could even tell when they were in the courtroom that the writers had no idea what they were talking about. And it sucks because, everything that's going on with Segway, everything that's going on with the Blade movie and Mahershala Ali having issues with the Blade movie, like, it makes sense. Like, were they trying to make Blade a freaking comedy too? Like, how does Blade exist in this format now? Because there's a robot by the name of Kevin orchestrating everything. That's just so stupid. Like, okay, fine. If we're gonna say that all that's just for fun, Wes, all that's fake, then Scar is fake. What's his name? His name is Scar. Scar is fake. You know, did they really take the blood? Do they really have a sample of the blood, or is it all destroyed? What happened to the guy that slept with her just to get the stuff off the phone? Was that a one-off? Like, what the hell? I don't understand. My brain is having a problem with understanding how I look at the MCU now. Everything that's going on with Loki, even though I don't really care for that show, with the multiverse and the timelines and all of that, is Kevin writing all that? Like, what the hell? I don't understand. This show could have went so many directions. And yes, it could have still been a comedy, lawyer, attorney at law kind of thing. But wow, why did we get this trash? Actors did what they were supposed to do. But I think this was very lazy, this was uncreative, and this just made no sense to the overall MCU. Like, did the blip really happen? Or did Kevin create that? What the hell? Anyways, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And yeah, everybody has an opinion, as do I. Leave your comments below and give your opinion. And again, this show is for some people, but according to the audience reviews, it's not for the majority. And I understand why. Deuces.